Bellamy Young, let's just talk about the Critics' Choice nomination before we do anything else. Congratulations, that's so cool.
Thank you, Rob. That's awesome. I'm thrilled.
And you were really surprised because I saw the coverage on KTLA when it was announced. You were there, and they kind of played a really cute kind of trick on you where you didn't know it was coming. How surprised were you? Were you not expecting it at all?
You know, I hoped for a minute you get dressed up and go over somewhere early, and you hope maybe. But then right before we went on, they handed me the cards, and my name wasn't on there. And so I thought, well, this is what's up, and this is what happens. You're lucky enough to be here, just saying things. We're making sure I could say everyone's name, and then we were there, and then we were saying them all, and they're coming on screen, and I was trying to time it out right, and then he said something about how many names, and I thought I had left someone off, and that was horrifying enough, but then he handed me a card with my name on it, and that was awesome.
So cool.
So, yeah, and it was Josh, I guess Josh Molina and Sam Rubin got up to the hijinks together, which is amazing. I love my cast.
Yeah, you got a very cool cast. You know, the Critics' Choice nomination is so good because the critics are obviously the people who know what they're talking about, and they have singled you out for a very good reason. This is why I'm not surprised. This is my theory, okay? Generally, the feedback about your performance this past season and your character's development has been so overwhelmingly positive. Shonda Rhimes gave you some amazing material to work with. Tell us in a really short sentence, what did you think about season 3 for you and Mellie?
It was seismic. It really, really was. Astonishing to me was I'm lucky enough to have a job, and I love it, and it's amazing enough in real time. I get to be good and bad, and you know, faithful and unfaithful, and all sorts of wonderful, complicated things. But this year, I got to go back in time and understand why I am all those things, and that's a gift you just don't often get as an actor. You can do your homework, and we'd all done our little, you know, our biographies or talked together and sort of made up histories so that it feels real when you're talking, and because you want to have, you know, you want viscerally to have a history between you, but to actually get to live it and to have someone as amazing as Shonda and our whole team of writers craft such an elegant, brutal, galvanizing history was an honor. And also, for me, Rob, truly, one of the things Shonda does best is she allows everyone to see themselves on television, whether it's ethnicity or sexual preference or whatever. And for me, I think the storyline of people being raped or raped within a family or whatnot, I think that's not something that gets light shed on it often. And I was very honored to play a part in bringing a little light toward that story and talking, you know, seeing. And we never, that's the great thing about her too, you never really talk about it directly. You're not talking about, I survived this but you're living your life and you're going on to the next thing, but it tells its own story of how people cope and how people get through. And yeah, this year was, I mean, a bounty of blessings. And then she killed my son. Wow, it was a crazy year.
I mean, like, wow. What an emotional roller coaster. Firstly, Mellie gets raped, and you've got to do that. And you go home that night after filming that scene. I'm sure you're not feeling like $1 million. Then your son gets killed in the season finale. I'm like, what is going on with this show? Stop, Shonda. You're throwing too much at us. And then I thought, how do you feel when you're on that table read? Because I've just been told by Tony the table read is like some crazy thing where you all figure out what's going on and you all laugh and point at each other and.
It's bananas. It's like a kegger. I mean, it really is. It's out of hand. And you start the next day. You just get it the day before, and then you're like, this is what I'm doing for 8 days. Yeah, but that one was gutting. I mean, there have been several this year where we've all just sort of had to sit afterwards and just sort of breathe, because it's there have been some big things go down. But that one particular for me, that's a lot because I had an incredible storyline in the present in that episode too, and everything's coming up Mellie, and then a life-changing storyline both for Mellie and for me in the past, and We shot all of the flashback in one day, because all of those scenes in one day, because we just had the location for one day. So I really prepped hard for it. You know, so my coach tried to get it in my body right. We had to fit that little wig, because you know we got to get a good wig, Rob.
Oh, yeah,
And
that's
then
very important.
I fasted all day so I could sort of feel, you know, pure and light and focused. And I had Barry Bostwick on my side. Have you ever talked to Barry?
Yeah, no, but wow, what an amazing actor.
You'll love him when you talk to him. And you want somebody that both commanding and gentle to be your partner when you're gonna up and do something like that. It was. I mean, it's a gift, though. These things are genuinely gifts. This whole year has been so challenging and such a blessing and so instructive. I've loved every second of it.
I'm going to take a question from the chat room. Zoe wants to know whether you can, in any specific way, how do you relate to Mellie? What is it about Mellie that you connect with?
I am fiercely loyal. I define fiercely differently, but truly, I'm a you're the dog, loyal kind of girl. So I get it when Mellie will go to any lengths for the people that she has committed herself to. I like I say, in no way are my methods. My methods are sort of diametrically opposed to Mellie's in most every order of business. But yeah, her loyalty.
And what do you think Mellie's primary driver or motivator is? Is it power? Is it Fitz's love and desire? What is it that keeps her going?
I really think her fuel is loving him. I truly, truly do. That's been the motor, definitely for me as an actor all along. All of those tirades, I mean, those you can't support that sort of anger at someone for that amount of time if you are not deeply, deeply just hurt because you are deeply, deeply connected to them. So that I've always found my anchor there.
Yeah, and also, how is Mellie so strong? I mean, she's such a strong person, strong character. She's really magnetic when she's on screen. What is it about her? Because the man she's with obviously doesn't want to be with her. We'll touch on what happens in the finale a little later, but the story is Fitz doesn't really want to be with her. He wants to be with Olivia, and she still gets out of bed every morning and gets on with her day. How does she do that? What does she draw from?
Well, I think you have to remember you're just meeting them in a one moment in time, in an ugly, ugly, ugly moment in their marriage. And so I like to think about that Mellie is drawing from like we get gasoline way down where those little dinosaurs died. Like I feel like Mellie is having to dig that far to find the well and the reservoir of fidelity and love and partnership with Fitz, but it's very real for her. It lives in the present and it gets her through every day, and she's just waiting it out, right? I think she thinks of Olivia as a short-term problem, and Fitz and Mellie are incredible partners. I mean, they really, on every level, are so well matched, and I think she's just waiting for him to come back to his senses and get back on track. And she, every day, is able or not able to do that in varying degrees and goes, you know, a little crazy or stays a little sane or just gets subversive. But I really do feel like Mellie has a 1,000-yard stare, you know? She has a goal, and it includes, it's sort of the totality of their life. She's a Gestalt girl. She sort of is holding their higher truth as her goal. And but I think loving him is the motor.
Wow. Let's talk about some specific highlights from the season. I identified 3 specific episodes that I thought were just like knockouts. Pardon the pun, because one of them has that in the title. Firstly, everything's coming up Mellie is the episode that was so pivotal because we finally got to learn more about her past with the flashbacks, which you've already talked about. The traumatic rape by her father-in-law when she was just a young newlywed, you know, and on really embarking on this journey with Fitz, on this political journey. What for you? What was the best thing about that particular episode in terms of as an actor and also for your character?
Well, as I was saying, as an actor, so uncommon and so such icing, you know, to have your past, to get to live your past with the people that you are living your present with. I mean, that just it's just so rare. And I know as a viewer, for example, I'm thinking about Guillermo in the episode 752. Guillermo is an actor whom I have always esteemed, and I love Guillermo as a human being. But after 752, he can blink and make me cry because I see the weight of every choice that he's made in his life, you know? And I think that's what our flashbacks do for this show, and definitely what it did for me with Mellie. I've definitely tried to ground her choices and figure out the whys in the present, but getting to live that stuff with Tony, I just get it to your marrow, you know? And you feel... to go from feeling, all the possibility of youth and a future together, and the world is such a, you know, from when you're a young person, like everything is ahead of you, and then to see her in her present, which is an arguably incredibly successful present. She's absolutely formidable in so many ways, but so truncated in others, and so to see the weight of one night and how it bears fruit, even definitely for a survivor, was incredible. It was incredible to get to play. And then the storyline in the present in that episode is they were doing like a documentary, right?
Yeah.
And I was trying to introduce him to the East Wing, and he doesn't show up for me, and then he really does, and he gets that beautiful interview where he's like, you know, I did this, back off. I mean, it was just, that episode was, come on, that's a gift. That is an actor gift. That's actor catnip. That is actor.
Yeah.
That is.
It sure is. Yeah. Let's talk about Mama Said Knock You Out. That was the episode where the family has a TV interview. People want me to go there, so I'm going to go there. You have that great, really raunchy 3-second glimpse of Mellie in, let's just say, an uncompromising position. That was fantastic. I can't believe that gets shown on network TV in America. But so cool. Great episode. Tony directed that one. He just talked me through how directing that was a real challenge because he was in so much of it, and but he really enjoyed working with you and the kids. What was your highlight from that episode?
Well, Tony got that script like 5 seconds before he started directing it, so let me just say again how great he was. That script is beautiful, but it took some just the logistics of it all. They're like, you know, like a Rubik's Cube. It just took a minute to find. And so Tony's job, both on screen and off, because I think his work in that episode is also so gutting. But it's funny that you bring up that scene because I don't know if he told you the story. He got so upset when we fixed that we sort of choreographed it. Did he tell you this?
No, tell us.
We said it all, and we were trying to decide just how like broken down Mellie, you know, like what you'd see and what you wouldn't.
Yeah, what you can't. Yeah.
And how John would be in the background, like what he was doing, and we finally got the choreography right, and I think we really only ran it once. Maybe we did a safety take, but the take we did, sweet little Carrie's face, like when I came out, she was literally like, oh. But the camera, you could, like, her reaction on screen is amazing enough, but when she, like on the day, it was bananas crazy. But when we finished, Tony came around the corner and he had tears in his eyes because it had upset him so much as a father, like to have seen that.
Oh my God.
It was, that whole episode was a joy. And Madeline Carroll and Dylan Minnette, how great are the kids? How great are they? I know everybody clamored to see Carrie and Jaron, Carrie and Jaron, there you go, Jerry and Karen for so long, but I mean, it was worth the wait for those guys to do it. They were outstanding.
They totally were.
Karen yell at Mellie.
So good.
Super fun.
That's good stuff. Oh no, it's all good. Now, finally, let's talk about the finale, because I said to Tony earlier today that, as I said to you as well, I just couldn't believe, I wasn't spoiled, so I had no idea what was going to happen, and I thought, oh my God, another thing, oh my God, another thing, and then Jerry dies, and that was like, oh my God, that was horrifying. I'm a dad, so I just almost couldn't even watch it, and then the whole thing would go on Pope. But, I mean, you had to really, really go to some dark places because, you know, your son's died and you're in this paralyzed horror for some of the episode. What were you drawing on for that type of performance?
I've lost a lot of people in my life. I've buried 4 dads, so which sounds crazy, but Death and I, we get along. It's just, I don't know, that's the space I know. Which sounds, I don't at all mean, that's not a self-aggrandizing thing. I'm just saying, yeah, that's where I went. That's where I went. And I can never think of a horror greater than burying your child. No. I just can't. So, and the words on the page, we get words on the page that don't require any smoothing emotionally. You know, the emotional topography is really, really sturdy. So just personal loss and the words on the page, and it allows you to be living that horror. And it was so crazy because during that table read, Shonda, because first Olivia tells my truth, and then Fitz comes to me like it all, and we would finish. One bomb would drop, and she'd say, "Just act 1, people." Something else would happen. Just act 2. Like literally, and we were all like,
but wait,
I needed to just fall into a quiet coma after that table read. Yeah.
That's really cool. I mean, thank God you're not telling me, oh, it's so boring and I never get to do anything. It's good. You can't complain. You can't complain.
No,
now I'm going to take some stuff from the chat room because they're all screaming at me. But guys, I'm not going to tell Bellamy that how much you love her and how good she is. You can tell her that on Twitter.
I love you back. I love you.
If you don't give me something good, I ain't going to ask it. Okay, now here's one. So Taylor wants to know, do you think Mellie would ever run for office? Well, obviously after 4 years or however long it takes now for the second term, would she ever run for office?
There was a minute this year where I was like, oh, if Sally's going to leave, I think I should be next. I was so like, and I think, in Mellie's heart, she's just sort of biding her time till she's president. I mean, we'll give, bless you, we'll give Fitz his 4 more years, and then it's, it's me time. It's my turn.
It's all about me. Okay, that's interesting. Now, is there anyone on the cast that you don't ever get to really share a scene with? And if so, who would that be? And what could they do? What could these 2 characters do together?
I never really get to see the Gladiators. It's a very bifurcated work experience. Luckily we love each other and we all spend a lot of time together socially. But this year, Darby came over. That day it was Gabby. Gabby was pretending to be Olivia. So we got to enjoy her. But I would love to act opposite Guillermo for a minute. Love it. I just adore him. I really do. I'm getting to do a little bit with Katie, and a little bit with Scotty. I never talked to Josh either. Yeah, there's everybody.
Plenty. There's plenty.
We don't have a bench. We have all centers in our cast.
We need to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shonda, get onto it.
There's somewhere plotting to mix it up a little bit. I have no doubt.
Okay, so Bella123, I think I know who that is telling me to ask you about the slap, and I've completely forgot about it. But yeah, let's talk about the slap because
Good job, Bella.
The big slap. Let's talk about it. Tell me.
Well, it was 3 years in the coming, so it's much practice. And Tony bless his heart. Honestly, the truth is, because you fake it a little bit, and on your coverage, because you don't want to just hit sweet Tony Goldwyn. If you were just watching Tony Goldwyn, he is the most wonderful human. So you can't just keep hitting Tony Goldwyn. But then we come around to do it for his coverage, and you really got to lay one on him then. But then I got really nervous and I couldn't hit him. So it took a couple times of him saying, "It's all good. Just come on." Or I guess he had it here.
Lay it on me.
Yeah, so it finally happened. But I can tell you, that's just Bellamy being nervous to hit Tony Goldwyn. Mellie was all kinds of ready to hit it.
She was ready.
All colors of ready to hit it.
Totally ready. But you know what? What was so cool about it is because towards that part of the season, and I said this to Tony straight up, Fitz was being a bit of a pain in the ass. Like, he was whiny and irritating, and people were back. There was a backlash. You knew all about this. There was a backlash, and some people didn't like the way his character was behaving. And it was really Mellie who was able to say, on behalf of the universe, pull your head in, bang. And so it was a really good moment, and we all thank you for it. It was very, very good.
It was a pleasure to get to do. Yeah, it really, really was.
Yeah.
It was also fun this year too, because Mellie would get drunk and tell the truth. Like, she would just get loose enough to just let. And it's one thing to yell the truth at somebody, but it's quite another to just be so loose and just tell the truth to somebody. Be looking them right in the face, and it was fun and really, I think, really shook things up in a much quieter way, but a much more profound way.
Yeah. Absolutely. Now, a lot of the fans have wanted me to ask you about the relationships or the shipping, which is something that kind of goes over my head. But there's Mellies and Moo. I'm not really sure what that means, but do you want to talk to that and where you lie on the spectrum?
Sure. Well, gosh. Everyone on Twitter knows that I understand things very little. Explaining. Everybody's so nice to me. They're like, "Do you want us to change your header?" And generally, I'm like, "Yes, I do, very much." The shipping. So Mellies is me and Fitz, and Mew is me and Andrew, and I enjoy being in a quandary. That's my answer.
Yeah. That's good. I think that's good.
It was cool for Mellie to see if she could let somebody be nice to her for a minute. That was fun this year to have, bless his heart, Andrew was just there adoring her. But it's hard to let yourself be loved if you're not used to it. It's very uncomfortable to have that much. If you're used to someone dismissing you completely, to have someone's complete attention is. It just takes a minute. So it's super fun to play that sort of unfolding. And John Tenney is the best, the most
great
fun.
Addition to the cast. Shaka wants to know who your dream guest star would be. Have you got someone in mind that you need to talk to the casting director about?
I think that Fitz and Mellie should have dinner with the Obamas and the Clintons. That's what I think.
Yeah, that'd be amazing.
That'd be all right.
That's going to be really difficult to achieve, but yeah. You can give it a try. Why not?
Linda Lowy, she's achieved many great things.
She has. She's like the guru. There's no one really better than her. Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get slightly real now, because the Scandal did really poorly for its first season at the Emmys. They just ignored it. Then second season, they said, actually, we really like Kerry Washington, and let's give Dan Bukatinsky an Emmy himself. This season, we're hoping, we think, we don't know, but we think that Scandal will explode even more. And, you and Joe Morton were just nominated for the Critics' Choice. That ain't going to hurt. So let's just talk about the Emmys for a sec. If you're nominated, as you know, you've got to pick your highlight episode. You've got 3 really good ones to pick. I probably know which way you're going already, but what would you submit to Emmy voters if you had to?
Well, I mean, I think everything's coming at Mellie. I've never been given a gift so great as that. We did not touch the First Ladies, though, and Mama Said Knock You Out were also stellar gifts. And I would have to do something which I am loath to do, which is sit down and rewatch myself, or watch myself in them, because I only see it when the tweeting is happening, which means you don't have to really actually, enough to tweet something pertinent to the thing that's on. Because you don't want to start doing an imitation of yourself, But so I'd watch them again and see what I'm proudest of. What do you think, Rob? You're the story.
Well, everything's coming up Mellie. I watched that episode and said immediately, this is the one. If she is nominated, I'm going to hound her and tell Bellamy to submit it, because it's wonderful.
Done.
It's done. But, of course, you can do whatever you like, but that's just my opinion.
It's all fantasy that we're talking anyway, so it's all good.
Well,
I take your advice.
You never know, mate. You never know what happens with the Emmys. They do love to surprise us, and
Well,
they take notice of people who have strong seasons, and if that happens for you, then that's your episode. But anyway, now before we go, I do want to thank you for not including your pets this time. I don't know if people remember last time, but we had some weird animal love in the back, and it's really cool that didn't happen again this time. But yeah.
They do send their love, Rob. They somewhere are humping and thinking.
I really do miss them very much. All right. Well, thank you so much for your time, Bellamy. Great season. We look forward to season 4. No idea what's going to happen. We hope maybe Mellie and Fitz might have a different dynamic now that so much has happened between them.
Yeah. Who, you know, I don't even wonder. Even my mom asks me all the time, "What do you think?" And I don't even wonder because I know we're in such great hands. But I do I'm ripping out stitches to know. I can't wait to get back and see. I can't wait.
Good luck for next season, and thank you again, and good luck for the Emmys.
Rob, thank you for having me. I adore you.